new wave of U.S. air power deployments to the Caribbean region has once again been detected. On December 23, 2025, several open-source intelligence OSINT analysts on the X platform reported intensified movements of U.S. fighter and support aircraft into the area of responsibility of U.S. Southern Command, as Washington tightens maritime surveillance and pressure on Venezuela. Based on visual OSINT analysis, at least 14 F-35A Lightning II stealth fighter jets from the Vermont Air National Guard have been deployed, accompanied by the presence of the 921st Contingency Response Squadron at Las Americas International Airport in the Dominican Republic. This deployment is reinforced by a range of support aircraft, including the U-28A Draco, the EC-130H Compass Call, and the MC-130J Commando II, significantly expanding the spectrum of U.S. operational capabilities in the region. Key. This move adds to an unprecedented concentration of U.S. military forces in the Caribbean under the umbrella of Operation Southern Spear. Although officially promoted as a counter-narcotics and sanctions enforcement mission, the operation is widely understood as an instrument of strategic pressure on the Caracas government. The deployment includes a rare number of F-35s and EC-130H electronic warfare aircraft, signaling Washington's systematic effort to shape the combat environment, both physically and electromagnetically, around northern South America. The OSINT map, on which the latest report is based, shows that these forces complement a large formation already in the region. In the maritime domain, the Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group is operating in the Caribbean Sea, with an air wing that includes FA-18EF Super Hornets, E-2D Early Warning Aircraft, EA-18G Growler electronic warfare jets, and support helicopters. Meanwhile, the Iwo Jima Amphibious Ready Group carries the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit, complete with thousands of Marine personnel, combat vehicles, and rotary wing assets capable of projecting force onto land. These formations are further reinforced by several guided missile cruisers and destroyers, as well as at least one attack submarine providing access to hundreds of vertical launch cells for Tomahawk cruise missiles and advanced air defense systems. The same OSINT mapping also highlights a rotation pattern of bomber strike packages composed of B-1B, B-2, and B-52H bombers flying directly from the U.S. mainland into the operational area. This posture was previously demonstrated during long-range bomber flights conducted near Venezuelan airspace last November. At the core of this deployment architecture, Puerto Rico plays a pivotal role. The reactivated Roosevelt Roads Naval Base is now hosting approximately 20 F-35 aircraft, a mix of U.S. Air Force F-35A variants and U.S. Marine Corps F-35B variants. The latest OSINT updates identify that 14 of the newly deployed jets originate from the 158th Fighter Wing of the Vermont Air National Guard, known as the Green Mountain Boys. With their stealth characteristics, sensor fusion, and extended combat radius, F-35s operating from Puerto Rico can reach Venezuelan territory with minimal response time. This presence effectively transforms Roosevelt Roads into a high-end air power hub, from which the United States can conduct air superiority missions, suppression of enemy air defenses, and maritime deterrence, while operating from a relatively secure environment. From Caracas's perspective, this significantly shortens warning times and places critical strategic infrastructure, including air bases, coastal radar sites, and command centers, under constant threat. The role of Las Americas International Airport in Santo Domingo adds an equally critical logistical dimension. The 921st Contingency Response Squadron, known as the Dragon Squadron, specializes in opening and operating air bases in non-traditional locations. Reports from Dominican media and U.S. military sources indicate that the unit has established a temporary airbase on runway 17 to 35, enabling sustained operations by C-17 Globemaster, 3 heavy transport aircraft, and other air mobility platforms. As a result, the Dominican Republic functions as a key transit hub, linking the U.S. mainland, Puerto Rico, and maritime task forces in the Caribbean. When integrated with F-35 fighters, naval assets, and other ISR platforms, the Compass Call acts as a connective node for joint strike operations, linking the electromagnetic spectrum with kinetic force. This underscores that U.S. objectives extend well beyond the interdiction of dark fleet tankers violating sanctions. While Washington maintains that the operation focuses on counter-narcotics efforts and energy sanctions enforcement, the density and sophistication of the deployed forces open a far broader range of options, from long-term maritime deterrence to the possibility of limited strikes against Venezuelan military infrastructure. For external actors such as Russia, China, and Iran, this concentration of power serves as a clear signal that efforts to use Venezuela as a proxy or strategic foothold in the Caribbean will face a layered response from the United States. Meanwhile, Latin American countries are watching cautiously, aware that the boundary between law enforcement and preparation for military action is becoming increasingly blurred. Overall, the arrival of additional F-35A fighters, the activation of the 921st Contingency Response Squadron, and the deployment of U-28A, MC-130J, and EC-130H aircraft mark a significant shift in the U.S. posture under Southcom. This presence is no longer merely a demonstration of naval power, but rather a multi-domain strike and support network designed for sustained operations. For the Caribbean region, the message is clear. The area has become an integrated air, sea, land, and electromagnetic battle space, where U.S. qualitative superiority is being built systematically, while simultaneously increasing deterrence against Caracas and the risk of miscalculation in an already tense crisis. This shift also indicates that Washington is preparing a framework for enduring operations rather than a purely situational response. With supporting infrastructure now distributed across Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, the United States gains operational depth that enables force rotation, asset maintenance, and mission continuity without relying solely on emergency deployments from the mainland. For military planners, this configuration offers decisive advantages in time and distance. Fifth-generation air assets, special operations aircraft, and electronic warfare platforms can be moved with minimal delay, while naval forces continue to serve as a flexible pressure layer. This pattern creates constant pressure on Venezuela without the need for an explicit escalation declaration, while preserving rapid response options should the situation evolve unexpectedly.